So, yeah.
I am now recording audio.
Alright, so then once again, disclaimer, the group has decided to go ahead and just convert across from the Time of War rules, so they will have the ability to have skills that are roughly 3 points higher on average than the universe is set for in terms of mech combat and vehicle. Everyone's on the same page about that? Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe that was the only out-of-game point that I needed to bring up. And yeah, this is going to be mostly a roleplay session with you guys interacting with each other. I did have one question for you. Just a preference one. Since you have two commanding officers, and you're kind of split between the two of them in terms of technical units, who did you want to be the one you primarily take orders from? The actual mech commander guy? Aiden there? Or did you want me to come up with some fluff reason to have you more or less detach the two mechs to reinforce Sonya there, the elementals unit? Because frankly, it's going to be easier for me if your orders come down from one individual instead of two.
I think the first leader was fine. I don't know, because it sounds like if you have to have us to fluff it a little bit to get the other person, it's just awkward if you already have one that's available.
Any dissenting opinions?
Nope.
Take that as a no. Okay. Okay. Just need to know, because it makes it easier on me being able to give you one person's personality and voice when giving you orders. Alright. So today, you will be doing a primarily roleplay session, as I said. Anyone need to be caught up on what happened last time? I'm pretty sure you were all here for that.
Oh, maybe I wasn't. Mhm.
Yeah, Kennedy wasn't here last week.
Well, in that case, what your character missed out on while you were out clearing brush or something, I don't actually remember what we've left you doing. You missed out on being attacked. The group being attacked by. Well, the mechs were first attacked by a giant slug creature that was hiding in the water. That may or may not nest in these lakes, which certainly makes getting water a interesting prospect.
It's a whole ass problem.
Yeah. Second issue was a bunch of dog-like native things that swarmed over one of your infantry units, but it turns out they were actually running away from something else, which then promptly showed up and very nearly ate one of your commanding... well, not the two commanding officers, but one of... who was it? Christian... Yeah... What is his character's name? Vincent's commanding officer very nearly got swallowed by a giant lizard thing. Thank, let's see, this is the clan, so thank Kerensky for powered armor, right? Yep. So that happened, and you guys basically spent the rest of the match fighting off two very angry giant lizard things that had jaws powerful enough to actually scrape armor off battle mechs. Not a lot of armor, but armor nonetheless.
Fantastically terrifying.
And sorry to say, Lacey, but you missed almost every shot until after you left.
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
I think you missed every shot until the end, until you finished them off.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that as a real person, I have way better aim than that.
We're joking. Our game joke was that clearly some tech had not bothered to perform maintenance on your security bot for the full 300 years since they were last used during the clan's initial landing on their homeworlds.
Fantastic.
It's the calibration. It's the ping. It's the ping.
That tracks. One of us had an upside down radar in the first place.
Yeah. Our joke is you basically spent the entire thing trying to figure out where the actual reticle, was versus where it said on your screen. Probably by the end you're like aiming in the upper right corner of your view and it's like, this is clearly off.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just a fluff thing for lore there, but just so you guys know, well, two things for fluff. One, do not take the ranges used for the actual combat to be the literal ranges of the weaponry. Technically, most of this weaponry is in lore. It should be measured in kilometers, but the decision was made back when the game was being made to not do that, since you would require a map the size of a small football field to play any games. So,
yeah.
Just keep that in mind. That's just a purely rule specific thing to make the maps manageable.
Gotcha.
For instance, one thing that was pointed out, particle projection cannons, PPCs, theoretically should have line of sight range. That is, if you can see it, you can hit it. As far as the mechanics behind it. But obviously that's not a fun mechanic for, a game as much. But, so keep that in mind. And the other bit is... I guess the best way to explain it is they take into account the assumption of basic targeting computers and enemy ECMs for mechs. So if you ever lose your onboard targeting computer, or you're using a machine that doesn't have it, just remember you're rolling at -2 to everything, on top of every other penalty.
Great.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Yep. It's actually a note I only found out mostly because I was reading that section on bringing in like current modern day. Actually, it was World War II equivalent, tanks. Who don't have the advanced sighting system, but they lump everything from World War II until the early space flight era as one technological grouping. They're considered to not have targeting systems, so they roll -2 against any modern unit, just period.
Oofda.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. So those are just the fluff points to bring out in case they come up. We're going to start in the aftermath of people picking themselves up. Vincent's commander just literally trying to figure out how to fix the completely stripped of all armor Nighthawk combat armor.
My squad leader. Yeah.
Yep, your squad leader. Going around probably picking up the scattered pieces of armor, kind of sighing very audibly over the radio. So yeah. And, you decided to keep Escanor as the name there, Kenji?
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything fancier, and I did go with Dante last time, so I'll just
Alright.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
No issue. Okay, so Escanor, you come back from your scouting and securing mission, having been surprisingly uneventful, going, it's just a forest planet, not much here to see this scene of clearly the aftermath of a battle. 2 gigantic-sized lizards who have been filled with holes now, some random dead dog things, and your group generally looking a little worse for wear. What is your reaction?
Well, that way is a little safer. What exactly happened here?
Imagine you get the full story of everybody talking over each other.
I imagine I hear like bits and pieces, and I've conjured up my own image in my head. Like you guys were saying mechs and armor getting scraped and giant lizard, and now I'm just imagining Godzilla. Like a mecha Godzilla that's like hiding in the bottom of the lake. Right.
Somewhere in the background in his mech, the actual unit commander is face palming, hearing this chatter over the radio. Electing not to get involved because he just feels like he would make it worse somehow. Alright, people. Calm down. Tex, go drag those giant lizard things over to the side or something and get back to work. And we're going to fast forward a little bit to when you finish the initial scan of the perimeter, which is less eventful. And you guys are climbing out of your mechs for those of you in mechs, and probably having the tech strip off your powered armor for those of you who are in that. The loaders of you probably just pop it open and climb out, to be honest with you. I imagine a power loader exoskeleton is designed to be easily gotten in and out of. It's a civilian machine.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that
Go
one.
ahead. Yeah. All right. So, as you all gather up, you get called to a meeting because apparently the techs want to bring some points up. Or specifically the scientist cast. Especially that one who was nearly eaten by wolves who, Cole distracted them from eating. Alright. Does anyone not attend the briefing?
No.
Okay, good, because that probably would have gotten your ass kicked by your commander.
Yep.
Alright. So you all trundle into the meeting. The commander starts off, just making sure everyone's here, brief head count, and then... Alright, so the techs have done a more in-depth study of the atmosphere and the environment, and they've brought forth this list of notable environmental issues. Alright, he pulls out a compad or something and starts flipping through the information. Right, so, first off, thanks to the increased oxygen in the atmosphere, we're going to run into the following issues. Low ignition points. Fires will start more easily, even damp or wet fuel is probably going to be able to be set on fire. Also, it'll be harder to put out said fires, as he gestures out the window to, like, the smoldering part of the jungle you guys set on fire with your weapons that they're still trying to put out. Some random tech crew. Fires will accelerate and burn through materials faster, and flashing sparks are going to be much more of a concern. So, yeah, keep that in mind. There's going to be higher ozone levels. This is, of course, harmful to humans for those of you who slept through basic, well, biology, for that matter. Kind of stares directly at... Cole, is it, I believe, is...
Yep.
Yeah. Just pauses for a moment, stares him real hard to see whether it's getting through.
Biology. I learned about ozone in shop class.
Slight eye twitch.
Are there a lot of welders around?
Right. Well, ozone is produced via combustion and a number of chemical processes, primarily the industrial ones. Considering the amount of maintenance we have to do on weapons of war, and the fact that that involves welding and industrial chemical reactions, he just kind of lets it hang for a moment. Do I really have to spell that out for any of you?
No, I know how to spell all of those words. I may not look like it, but I read a lot.
I
Good.
think I give him a pat on the back.
Right, just moving on then. Um, right. This also means we're going to have an increased tendency for metal to rust. That means there's going to be a need for more maintenance, replacing of tools and parts, and an increased rate of rust for iron-based items and resources. So, don't leave anything iron-based sitting out. Next, the increased tendency for organic materials to age and decay. Also, bleaching out is more common. So, food and organic supplies will rot or spoil faster. This includes many forms of medicine. Do not just leave your medkit sitting out in the open. Much harder to store any provisions or perishables we find on this planet. So, keep that in mind. Next point, accelerated growth of... He stares at it. Well, that is... Shakes his head. You know what? Basically microorganisms. Yeah, let's just go with that word. Mostly fungi, they said, some yeast, and bacteria. That means increased risk of infection, potential damage to crops, and yeast issues. Pauses on that one. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to go there. Clearly reading off a list that they gave him. High oxygen leading to lower vaporization point of water. Again, he's staring at this being a mech warrior going, ugh. Fine. Lower he kind of summarizes the last point. Probably lower temperatures and less rain. So basically the nights are going to get cold, more so than the temperate weather now seems to indicate, and we may have trouble getting rainwater, so yeah. Anyone have any questions about the survival issues? Again, it pauses for responses.
Nope. Blank look.
Yeah, I think like at least half are like just blank stares.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
you could
sounds
get
pretty
the feeling
clear to
that
me. Oops.
yeah, you get the feeling even he's just going through the motions of this. He's pretty sure that a bunch of warriors are not going to have much to say about this. All right. Right, so that brings us up to our priority concerns. First off, breathable atmosphere. Technically, we can breathe what's outside, but with it being high oxygen content, there are going to be few minor side effects, if we stay here too long, slightly increased aging, that sort of thing. We probably want to prioritize when we get the base set up. Regulated atmosphere. Standard Terran. That is more of an issue for the techs, but I'm warning you about that ahead of time. The ones that you can potentially help with are the clean drinking water. They finished their analysis of the drinking water. We have a couple of problems. 3 to be precise that were brought up. First, some minor physical contaminants. There's very low trace amounts of arsenic, some radiologicals, and heavy metals in the water. Not a lot. It's not going to kill you just taking a sip, but it will build up over time and kill you if you don't properly strain it and purify it. There are organic contaminants, of course, microbes, parasites, bacteria, the usual. And the final point they're pointing out to me is that, well, not only does it house large predators, but it's going to attract large predators to the water sources. So we're going to have to take that security concern into effect.
Hell yeah.
He just slowly turns to look at Cole. Just random outbursts. Right. At any rate, after the rest of this, I will be asking for input from all of you on any potential suggestions or security measures you might think of, because apparently I'm supposed to do that now. He sighs. Stupid portents. Anyway, next up on the list, food supply. The local wildlife, after being examined, is mildly toxic. We can process that out, but if you eat it raw, or, well, especially raw, or even just cooked over an open fire, you'll basically build up toxins until you die. Probably a side effect of the arsenic in the water, I would assume. He shrugs. Current local flora has not found anything edible to humans. We don't really know. We haven't explored the whole planet, but nothing locally edible. And it's going to be very difficult, thanks to the aggressive local flora and microbes, to plant any Terran crops without a proper agrodome, which naturally we don't have. Just kind of glances over at the list of supplies, rubs his brow. Because, of course, they wouldn't send that in basic supplies for setting up a new facility. No! Why would we need to be able to grow food? Anyway. And finally, shelter. The days are going to be a bit hotter thanks to, well, the dense atmosphere, and the nights are definitely going to be colder because of the oxygen issue. Low rainfall, I already mentioned that. Oh, right, they did say the denser atmosphere is going to result in much more forceful winds, so, the storms, probably going to be much more severe than you're used to. Oh, also, if we use our prefab metal buildings, the oxidation will get to them, and we will have to replace them far more often. So, we should probably consider additional materials for use. Right. That's it for the immediate concerns. I will now open the floor to suggestions. He actually shudders slightly at that.
So when you said that agriculture would be difficult without the agro domes, is that the kind of difficult where you mean impossible, or like we're still gonna try it but it's gonna be hard?
Frank with you, given our lack of labor caste specialists in farming, I would say it's almost a 98% probability of failure.
Ew.
And probably a waste of our seed stock. So, yeah. Unless
Well-
you can think of ways to counter that. Yes, MechWarrior. Looks over at,
Well, which do you want us to prioritize first, water or food? Because probably water, huh?
yes. We do have enough ration packs brought with the ship to last probably a month if we have to go purely on those. Though I will be imposing rationing. I imagine that's a collective groan at that one. From the assembled warriors, especially the elementals. But,
Sort of like leans over to like whisper to Escanor. I'm sure we can find stuff to eat in the wild to supplement our diet.
They did mention it was a little toxic. It probably would be worse for us.
Well, sure, but if we only eat a little bit of it.
You only get
Oh,
a little
no.
sick.
That's
Oh god.
well, we can talk to some of the science dudes, see if they can get them to be less heavy metally.
Yeah, anything can happen.
Well, if we can extract the
Oh,
heavy
Lord.
metals, then we'll also have more, like, materials for projects.
You know?
Don't
Yeah,
they make
bud.
bullets out of lead? That's perfect.
Yeah.
How
Pat
loud
him
is
on the
this
back again.
conversation?
It's really quiet.
It's a whisper,
Okay.
but, like, it's still Cole. There's only so quiet he can physically be. I'm sure anyone who's trying to listen can hear it. I'm guessing most people are trying not to.
Yep. Gotcha.
For purposely ignoring that inside whispered conversation.
Standing to the right of them, so I hear nothing.
Nice. Blissfully unaware of this whole conversation. Alright. So then, prioritize water. Any suggestions? Obviously, we're going to have to get some sort of filtration system set up, but beyond that, what's your thoughts? You get the feeling this guy's not used to actually asking people for their opinions.
We're not used to giving them either, to be fair.
Yep. This is not a normal clan way of doing things. They're very hierarchical.
I put my hand straight up as if
As
I
if
want
you're
to ask a question.
Escanor. What?
Yes, were all of these sources of water the same, contamination wise?
To a lesser or greater degree, yes. Some have more with some certain contaminants than others, but they're all roughly contaminated, yes.
Do you think it's possible we could find any that are less, or are we just going to find the same or more?
As we can tell, it seems like the wildlife here is adapted to it, so there's a pretty good probability, unless we go for many, many kilometers, we're not likely to find uncontaminated water. Although there might be, I don't know, if we had landed in the mountains, there might have been like fresh springs or something.
I see.
Well, there's definitely some springs bubbling up around. I don't know if they're what you'd call fresh. I mean, everything's kind of swampy here, but they're there.
Just sort of slowly looks at Cole, opens his mouth as if he's going to respond, thinks about it, closes his mouth, and just turns away.
Well, we could pipe it up from below where it's like bubbling through the mud, because where it's coming up from the aquifer is probably pretty fresh, right?
I don't know what's an aquifer.
The random intelligent suggestion from the guy who's been acting like an idiot. I love it. He did say he reads.
He does.
Yeah, we learned that in shop class.
I give him a pat on the back, but this time I have a smile.
Yeah.
Commander pauses, thinks about this, puts in a call in to send a tech in to ask whether that would actually work. A few minutes later, the same tech who almost got eaten by giant dog things and friggin' slugs comes in. Yeah? What'd you need me for, sir? Repeats your suggestion. Guy thinks about it, pulls out a pad, starts doing some numbers. Yeah, I think that would definitely cut down on what we have to do. I mean, we'd still have to strain out some of the physical contaminants and maybe the microbials, but that can be done with a simple boiler attachment. Yeah, sure.
Wow. Really?
I was ready for the reaction to Cole actually being right.
Stunned silence.
Yeah. Blink, blink.
Wait, you
Well-
didn't know what an aquifer was? Turns to what's the character's name?
Peddly.
Kedley.
No.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I guess it probably has never mattered.
No. She points to what's your name? Bobby. Did you know what an aquifer was?
Nope.
See?
Yeah, I suppose that's. I don't know why I'm surprised.
The whole room just quietly, either people pretending that they didn't have this blank spot in their knowledge of, of the world, and the others who are just perfectly honest about it. All right, then. The commander kind of breaks into the silence. I guess that brings us to, we're going to have to set it up. Well, the text can probably handle designing and making the actual machinery eventually from some of our spare parts. We're still going to have to be considering the security concerns since, well, delicate machinery, and you saw the animals out there.
Yep.
You especially gestures at Bobby and Kettley.
Yep.
So, folks, I really don't want to have to station mech guards at the water pumps the entire time we're here, so thoughts?
Hmm. Well, they're ridiculously strong, so keeping them out with a fence probably isn't going to work, but what about perimeter traps?
Looks over at the infantry. Do you suppose you elementals can make something large enough to actually trap and injure one of these creatures?
Depends on if what we've seen are actually the biggest.
With enough explosives, we can accomplish anything.
Yeah, actually.
Fire problem?
Well, we could just blow up rocks and then have big enough rocks that we can make traps with those. We don't need.
That still involves explosives.
See,
Yeah.
if we
So
make a
fire.
pitfall, and then
Right.
we put explosives at the bottom of the
Oh
pitfall.
gosh.
I mean, you can.
Alternatively, scorch the earth of the perimeter and then set up the traps.
Pets, God, I need to learn you guys' names. Pets, Vincent on the back. I know you like your explosions with the big fires, but why not just do stuff like really big grenades that just throw shrapnel around and then won't start fires?
Well, I mean, grenades are explosives, but
Yeah, like we can do explosives that send that aren't like don't explode into balls of flame. Or do you think flinging a bunch of shrapnel around without also roasting them isn't gonna actually kill these things?
Can we even make explosives that won't set things on fire?
looks at Vincent.
Like I said, with enough explosives, anything is possible. But
I mean, we also...
if you don't want explosives, I'd suggest just, not a fence, but like a wall. I mean, these things appear to be hunting for food, so if they can't see the food, they probably won't bother it.
If we want to be able to guard it anyway, we're gonna need to clear a, pretty wide perimeter around it. And then if we do that, there's not gonna be anything particularly close to set on fire. Unless you were thinking not, clearing a field of view.
Well, no, it would have to have a field of view. You gotta see what's coming. Anyway.
Yeah, so I guess that doesn't help us in the short term till we clear it, but I don't know. I mean, explosives do seem like a pretty good solution to, basically all our problems. So, if we can figure out how to make that work, we probably should. Have you read Vincent's book?
What?
Or I guess
Vincent has a book?
well, I mean, what would you describe it as? I don't know if book is quite the right word to Vincent.
But it's more of a manual or a guide. How to solve life's problems.
With explosives, right. Seriously, how did you get into this unit? Commander just mutters to himself. So is that what everyone's thinking? Basically, explosive mines, clearing a clear line of sight, and then eventually building a wall? Those are the suggestions I'm hearing?
Yep.
If we come across more of them, we could try testing out different things, see if there's anything that scares them off. That's more of a long-term solution.
Ooh, I bet fire and explosions would scare them off.
The only thing fire and explosions doesn't scare off is you.
Well, if we're clearing all this stuff out, there's gonna be a lot of wood anyway. But yeah, that's a good point. I do like them. Ooh, we can put a wall of stakes that are all pointy, like you see in movies that are facing outwards. So that stuff that runs at it gets speared. I'm gonna go do that in my free time later.
Okay.
I don't know why this popped into my head, but I'm thinking everyone else watches the 3D, holo movies. You somehow got your hands on an old 2D flat screen. Watch DVDs or something. Absolutely archaic technology somehow.
Well, it was
Somehow we got in touch with Katiana.
it was free, there was this back room on base that just had a TV and just shelves full of discs. I don't think anyone else really knew it was there.
On the old 8K LED display.
LED. Oh yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, I remember one corner of it didn't quite work right anymore, but it still worked enough. I tried to fix it and just made the spot that didn't work a little bigger.
Somewhere out there, Katana is wincing at this.
Oh, but then I got some polarized glasses and then it worked fine again. It was like the spot wasn't even broken.
In fact, I even found polarized glasses somewhere is hilarious.
Well, I went skiing once, and I think I just forgot to take the equipment off when I got back. when I went to go relax with the movie.
Yeah, you can just see that he goes skiing at some like random civvy resort and then just like walks off with the equipment. And they're like, dude, he's an 8 foot tall elemental. Shut up.
Still somehow takes like the ski jacket and shirt off. Everything else is still on.
Yeah.
Why did I start talking about this? I mean, I guess it's been making people laugh, but I should probably stop so we can get back to the topic at hand. What's the topic at hand?
Water.
Right.
Protecting pumps and water source from said predators.
Ooh.
We've already talked about explosives.
Well, we could also then explode a well. We could make a well. If the piping from the aquifers thing doesn't, or from the actual spring sources doesn't work and we need to go deeper. That was also in the manual.
Okay.
Are the techs making a water recycling system?
Yeah, they'll probably cannibalize some spare parts from the drop ships, but yeah, we'll probably end up doing that. The tech who's still just sitting in the corner of the room since he has yet to be dismissed. Doesn't even have a seat, he's just actually just leaning against the wall. Realizes he spoke out of turn. I mean, sir. Shifty eyes slightly. He's wondering if he's about to get reprimanded.
Well, the answer's that. So, what do you want us to do right now?
Alright. Well, we have that under our belts, mostly as far as that goes. After we break this meeting, I'll have you go start clearing and trying to make some defenses for the short term. Before we get to that, let's address the food supply issue. Frankly, we can process the meat of those 2 creatures you found, but it's going to take a lot more resources than we anticipated. And as mentioned, starting a proper farm here without, well, either skilled farmers or an agrodome to limit the local contaminants is going to be problematic. Unless you all want to survive purely on rations, I suggest you start thinking of a solution. Because I certainly don't have one at the moment. Just stares out the proverbial window there. I'm not actually sure if the meeting room has a window. Hey, this is Danae's class. You know what? Yes, I'm going to say, since this is a civilian one, they actually have a window in the meeting room. Looks over at the lot of you. I don't know. Do any of you, for some strange reason, have any experience with agriculture?
Hold on, let me check my character sheet. I mean, what does
No.
that mean? Definitely not.
Do we bring anybody?
Everyone kind of looks around the room for a moment. He sighs. No, as a matter of fact, we did not. That's a labor caste thing, and apparently no one thought it would be important to bring any labor caste other than, the ship's crew who do, well, ship's crew things.
I assumed we'd just be hunting. So, it made sense to me.
This could be a mild problem, he says as he glances through. We have about a month's worth of supplies for all of us. The scheduled resupply is in 2 months. Looks up at everyone. Well, we have two choices. We can either stretch the rations, or we can try to find a way to supplement our stores.
I forgot. Did we say the plant life was edible?
Nothing that we found here. I suppose that could be an indication of the planet. It could just be an indication of this area.
And the last expedition we had to try to search further did not go well, right?
To be fair, we didn't really get that far from the landing site before we were attacked, but, I suppose if you're volunteering, I could arrange a second scouting mission. Maybe some elemental support on the mechs. Say, you, Bobby, you have an Explorer class mech. And, you, Kedley, you're the security mech. Go with her and provide cover in case she's attacked by those beasts again.
Yep, because that went so great last time. Gotcha.
I was just going to say his eyes are narrowing slightly as you say that.
Aye, sir. Mouth shut.
Anyway, that means I have to pick some support. You know what? You, he points at Cole, you, Escanor, and then you, Vincent. You three take your points, whoever makes them up, and support those mechs. Or, you know what, just the three of you can go ahead and form, take two others for one simple point. Just points at two other random elementals. You and you go with them. You'll have to be hanging off of the mechs for extended periods of time, but your elementals, I'm sure you can do it. Right. So you scouts will look for food after we've immediately secured the water supply.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kettley is very carefully choosing words now. Oops.
It's more that this is like your first briefing and you were already is she gonna be a problem? That's the clear expression on his face. He's not made up his mind yet. Alright, folks. Get out there and get back to oh, wait. He looks at the out the window. Yeah, there's enough hours. Get out there and start securing some of the waterways. Make sure no more of those giant slugs are going to be eating the people working on it, and then tomorrow the scouts will leave on their scouting mission.
Okay.
He was clearly gauging how much daylight he thought was left. Any other reports, concerns, or whatever else from those of you who have been properly out in the field? Basically, he's giving the party a chance to speak up anything they need to report to him, or suggestions, thoughts, whatever.
So out of character, I really found like nothing on my trip. Just cleared the brushes and whatever the heck it was.
I mean, you know, the usual random local wildlife. Probably ran into a nest of rats or something, but nothing, or rat equivalents. Nothing that would warrant major issues.
All right.
me do a quick roll. You know what? Actually, you know what? Roll an edge check. Let's see if anything unexpected came up, good
Oh.
or bad.
Boy, something bad. Hey, never mind.
Okay, not great, but not bad either. Okay.
For an edge of 3 this time, that's pretty good.
With a 0. All right. So the only thing of notes you found was you did notice that there is a sizable deposit of rocks, seemingly buried in the trees there. You can't see them, but they're there. A bunch of boulders, and indicates there could be an actual massive stone under there in the forest area, but could be useful later. All right. So, you guys have your assignment. Anything else you guys want to bring up before I bring the meeting to a close? Okay, then. So, that brings us to you guys trying to secure the area around the water supply. Now gets to be the fun part. What roles and how are you going to go about these orders that were not explicit?
Well, are we trying the piping thing first? Because we need to figure out where we're actually getting the water from, and then I'll start clearing brush around it.
Scientists are probably going to start trying to sink some pipes into the some of the springs, see what happens. We will know later whether they're successful, but in the short term, that's where they're trying first. So you're just going to be clearing brush? Right. Make an appropriate roll. Whichever methodology you prefer for clearing brush from the area.
Just
And where's
straight
my
up-
Vibro Axe when I need it? Oh, I do have a Vibro Axe. I forgot about that.
Oop, I did do that off Cole's sheet. Just forgot to change character. It's not double ones.
Woohoo!
Were we in? Yeah, we were in battle suits, right? Not in a.
Cole's in a power loader, or whatever that's called.
Yep.
What
It's
would I
a
roll for that thing?
industrial exoskeleton. He just happens to be the loader version. Yeah. You passed with non-double ones, so you basically passed. So he's just brute forcing it, just clearing brush.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I know. Wait. I suit the Rhino battle armor. I don't know if I should be using that to clear brush. Not gonna lie. Don't really know what I should roll, actually. Let's go with pure strength. Just raw strength. Yeah,
I will
guess we're
laugh
just going
if he
for it.
fumbles it.
That would be funny. But I got a 6.
Okay. So seeing Cole just brute force clearing the brush, Escanor decides he can't be outdone.
That sounds very appropriate.
Immediately just drops all the equipment that he would have otherwise used and just goes to town. The two of them are now having a mini competition. Escanor is actually winning.
I better be. That's right.
Vincent.
Yeah, can I help them dig? Like shovels?
Sure.
All right. Can I use career soldier for that?
You know what? I will allow it. Soldiers do a lot of digging in. If you
Yep.
weren't infantry, I might reconsider it. Like mech warriors might probably not, but go ahead.
Oh,
It's not a fumble,
Not
but
bad.
you
Yeah.
barely passed. Okay. Yeah, you keep missing like instructions because they're just on that wrong side of you. So like you'll be clearing one area and then no, we're over here now. Okay. So that's why you didn't get higher. That's my fluff for it. But you do help out because you're an elemental and they're big and strong.
Yeah, I figured it'd be a bit faster if I helped them dig. I made the
Kettle is
holes a little
walking.
bit bigger than they want, but other than that,
Nice. Kettle is walking around the very edge of the lake, kind of poking it with like a whole ash tree.
Nice. You just uprooted a tree and you're just using it to poke the lake arbitrarily. Okay. I guess mech piloting would be an appropriate check. I'm not really sure, but I think that seems about right. As long as it's not a
A
fumble,
1 and a
that's
4.
pass. Okay. So yeah, you do succeed. You're pretty sure you know what? With a 0 there. Do you want to scare off or kill the beasties there? What's your aim?
Scare off.
Okay. In that case, you
I'd
do
rather
notice,
not have an attack.
you do notice this causes a couple of things, large things, probably more of those giant slug things, to swim away under the water. Congrats, you scared a couple off from the people who are working in the area. Who's left? I believe it's Bobby is the only one who hasn't made a roll.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye out on the perimeter and make sure I can spot any other wolf things or other creatures that come at us.
Sounds probably like a sensors check, unless you're doing it by hand, then it's perception. Given that you're a mech warrior, I'm just assuming you're using your mech to do it.
Yeah.
Alright. Field aptitude +1. Okay, yep. Congratulations, you have all successfully managed to stop well, straight up, you were going to lose a certain number of techs if you guys had not succeeded in these rolls. You succeeded by enough, though, that no one dies overnight. Congratulations.
Hooray!
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, I was counting total margin of success. Collectively, from all of you.
Thanks for the high roll, Escanor.
You're welcome. I mean, I don't think we got any negatives anyways, right?
No, but 2 zeros is plenty.
Fair enough. Or no, just the
Your
one.
collective margin of success was actually at a -8, which is what the Predators ended up rolling collectively. And whatnot.
Whew.
So,
I see.
so you actually do pass it by some, but actually no, I guess you passed it by what? Let's see, that was -8. What is your total there? It was 13?
13?
No, you passed by 5. You know what? I'm gonna say they actually get the aquifers in and start. I'm into the aquifers and start testing it. They don't have the full straining machinery set up and whatnot, but they do think that they can do this as a stopgap. If they need to, they can dig a deeper well which may become necessary if you guys require greater volume. Basically, with these springs, they can pump up a certain amount, but it's going to be it's sufficient for now. If you do any expansions to the base beyond this, you're going to need to lay in a proper well or something. Is what they report. That is, frankly, because I rolled a ±0 on their science check when I had them do this in the background. So they succeed, but not by a lot. Right.
Well, alright.
So you have your first night on the this planet. How many of you are sleeping in the dropship? Any of you going to try and rough it outside for whatever reason?
I'm not.
Uh-uh.
Not tonight.
The way you ask that makes me think
Right?
something interesting might happen. Cole does.
Yeah, with your guys' running them with monsters, I'm gonna try not to.
You know
As,
what?
as of now. For now.
Cole is gonna be real safe about it and sleep mostly under the dropship, though, because he wants to see the stars at night that this place has.
Please or roll a God, is it the perception in this? I think is what it's still called.
Oh,
At
Yeah.
-3, because you're kind of asleep when this happens.
almost.
Uh-oh.
1 edge point, ±0.
If you choose to. Sure. Okay. You wake up in time to see something that looks like an oversized owl trying to claw your face off.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, I kind of mistook your head sticking out from the dropship as, prey.
Punch it.
Okay. Roll. Martial arts.
Did I put... Yeah. Where... That's 2.
Are an excess of 2?
Yep.
Alright. Well, good thing for you, this thing only got a margin of success of 0. So you win that exchange. Do you take the clawing, or do you block it?
How big are its claws?
Well, let's see. This thing is almost as big as you are, so yeah. Its claws are almost as big as a human hand.
I will just
As far as-
block it then.
Yep.
Because with stun rules, that seems smarter.
Okay.
Cole's turn.
Yep.
Grab a rock, and then I can do melee weapon with an improvised weapon. So I have a total of 5, so 6 with the elemental aptitude. Could have sworn I put improvised. Yeah, I did. Oh, I can change the TN.
Alright.
Margin of success 7 with a rock.
So yeah, that's a +1 to damage, plus your strength divide. Okay. Yeah, base damage from melee weapon there is whatever it is plus your strength divide by 4.
Strength 9.
So let's just call that a 2 then, +2, so it's 3. Plus 1 from your margin of success. You did 4 damage to this owl.
Hell yeah.
It actually has no points of melee defense because it's a freaking bird. They're not exactly super durable. It may be large, but it still follows the avian rule set there.
They do still need to be able to fly.
Yes. So you're realizing it's not nearly as durable as it looks. It's just very large. So yeah, you pretty sure you hear like avian bones like break, and it screeches and starts flapping off with like a semi-broken wing. Or it's going to next turn, when it comes up. You technically also have one more action.
First action, I grabbed it.
Oh.
Rock.
Never mind then.
Switched weapons.
Never mind then. Yeah, in that case, it's tried to flap off into the night. Much less stealthy. Yeah, that is what its first action was to stealthily glide in to try and attack you. It did not realize your head was not your entire body. That it could see. So, yes.
Rookie mistake.
So, yeah. Do you bother to mention to anyone that there are large, flying, owl-like creatures?
Oh yeah, the next morning.
Next
Yeah.
one.
In the first place, did Cole tell us that he was going to sleep outside?
Yeah.
Would I have heard any of that?
Depends. Were you sleeping anywhere near there?
I have probably not.
Actually, you know what? Elementals. One of you, both of you, can make a random edge check to see if you just happen to be on patrol at that exact moment.
Oh boy! Also, you have unlucky points against me that I forgot existed. So I guess, or just one. I think it's only one level.
Probably not. It's not. Yeah, I know.
-4.
Yep. So yeah, none of you are aware of this. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So
They
yeah.
don't issue me enough explosives to sleep out at night.
So yeah, next morning at breakfast, I guess. Cole, take it away. How do you explain that encounter?
So last night, man, the stars are wild here. There's multiple moons too, I think. I don't know, I have to...
Also a ring around the planet, if you remember the image.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think part of why the stars were crazy is because a bunch of it's just dust around the planet, but close enough that it kind of looks like seeing the galaxy. It's kind of trippy also seeing the galaxy because they're not quite in a line. You guys, one of you should camp out with me next time. Although, with a helmet. I'm gonna bring a helmet next time.
What did you need the helmet for?
Oh, the giant birds.
Yeah, I suppose one would need a helmet for that.
You didn't think to lead with that?
Well, I mean, the stars were the cool part. The getting to fight off a giant bird was just a bonus. I didn't want to make you guys jealous either.
Jealous. Because that's the sentiment.
Well, if we're only talking a big bird, maybe.
But yeah, I just punched it a little bit and it flew away. So it's not a big deal.
Some random perimeter guard comes back. There's like talon scratches on the side of his back side of his armor. About the size of human fingers would be spaced almost.
You mean a bird? You think it did that?
I don't know. Hey, dude. That from one of the owls?
Yeah. Damn thing came flying at me, screeching, looked like it had a partially broken wing, clawed the shit out of my shoulder before flying off.
Oh, that must have been the one I punched last night.
Just stares at you, and you didn't think to call that in?
Well, I was sleepy. I just went back to sleep. We already know there's giant, terrifying animals everywhere.
Yeah, but I was looking at the lake and the ground, not the sky. Grumbles as he walks off.
Damn. Unfortunate.
Yeah, maybe I'll leave your offer for sleeping outside for another time.
The fact that Escanor just stares at the scratches and then responds with that's a wise choice for once. But yeah. Alright, so you guys are gonna gear up for your scouting mission today. Who's riding on which mech?
Oh shit, we get to ride on mechs. I forgot about that.
Yep.
I don't know which one of you guys minds me riding on your mech the least. I know you used to not be into that back in the day.
As long as you promise not to touch stuff.
What? I don't know how to do that if I'm hanging on to your mech. What do I hold on to?
Arms, back.
Hey, there's handlebars on the mech.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's actually, maintenance
Oh.
handholds, yeah.
So what do I not touch then?
You know the heat sink that's underneath you? Don't touch that. Big burns probably aren't a good way to survive.
Gotcha. Okay. I see.
God, I'm picturing this now having actually been an issue at one point during training. Some idiot cadet. Oh, hey, that's really. I got my hand!
No, everyone loaded up on the mech, and then they turned the mech on, and he was on that part.
Oh, even worse.
Yep. It's canon now.
Mind curdling screaming somewhere, and the instructor's just like got his head in his hands, going, "Why? Why did I get this group?"
Oh, my mech has a small observation platform on its shoulders. So that can
There
fit
you go.
people.
Neat. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably not the best at, like, looking out for things. So I like the view, but if we're wanting someone to keep watch, it should probably be Descanor. Looks at the two of them, looks at Vincent's ear. It should probably be Escanor.
That's why I did my hearing affect my sight.
Nice.
Good question.
Just walking by, the commander pauses. You do know there are 2 shoulders on a mech, right? Sighs, continues walking.
Do both of them have an observation platform?
Mine does not.
Oh, I meant both shoulders, but that's good to know too.
It says it's across both shoulders, so I think it can fit multiple people.
Like, named characters are going on the observation platform, and probably the 2 generic nameless ones are just clinging to the security mech. Does that sound reasonable to everyone?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry to interrupt roleplay, just wanted to make sure for GM purposes I knew what the configuration was going to be. Any other roleplay you guys want to get done before you head out on your patrol? This is your first morning on a brand new alien world that people may or may not have ever visited before.
Oh, and reminder about edge point recovery.
Oh, right. We did decide per night of sleeping 1 point back.
Has this planet been named yet?
No, it is not. It is one of those random, long, generic names. That NASA does that's more of a serial number.
Yeah.
Technically, as the discoverers of it, at least as far as any records indicate, Clan Novacat has the right to name it. So feel free to float your suggestions to the commanding officer. By this, I mean out of character. The group can discuss and come up with it, whatever it is.
We're all doing one of our breaks or whatever. I'll just mention that, like, you know what? We need to come up with a name at some point for this planet.
Yeah.
We call it Metallica.
Why?
Because everything here is gosh darn metal and gonna probably looks like it could kill us.
It's either that or poison.
I was thinking Nightmare Planet, but that works too.
I had pretty good dreams last night.
Anywho,
You know, in between getting attacked by the giant owl.
Yeah, that only took like, I don't know, like 30
Was that before or after? Yeah.
Good question.
Hey, how about Little Garden?
What does that mean?
The world looks like a little garden to the giant beasts that live here.
Oh, nice.
Totally didn't rip that name off of anywhere else. I don't know what you're talking about. 100% original idea.
You know,
Yes, we're gonna find those
would have just assumed.
old animation videos in
Oh shit!
your
Yeah,
watch logs.
I brought some, but I didn't think to bring a TV.
Oh god, his personal effects is just a bunch of like outdated DVDs that nothing will play.
Like, I think some of them literally date back to the Star League. They have like a year of publication, but I don't really know what years the Star League was. I just know it was a while ago.
For a clan member to admit he can't remember the Star League's era, that's pretty funny. Though to be fair, out of character, I don't expect any of you to remember that off the top of your head.
Yeah, that's mostly what it was, but Cole's a nice vehicle for that. It's a good change from Arizona to just not... to just have my lack of knowledge also be in character.
Love the fact that if we're anyone other than Cole admitting that, like, people would give him, like, strange looks given your culture, but it's Cole, so they're like, it kind of tracks.
I am both not surprised and don't want to get beat up.
Yeah. Right. Anything from Bobby there about the upcoming mission, since you are the one in the actual Explorer mech?
Nope.
Okay. Well, unless you guys have anything else you want to josh around about, I guess we can get the scouting started at least. With you guys saddling up and heading out to give me a couple decent. Let's see, what time is it? It is about an hour and 20 some odd minutes before we normally end session. Okay.
And I have to leave in like 20-ish minutes.
Yeah. In that case, maybe if that's all right with everyone, we'll just do some basic rolls to see how well your initial scouting goes. Maybe a little bit of fluff of that, and then call the session end a little early, since I kind of think you should have your scout pilot with you on the scouting mission.
Sounds like what they're good at. So
I mean-
it'd be nice to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Your perception's better than mine too. So, especially with your scanners.
yeah, I
Okay.
definitely gotta work later, so leaving earlier does sound nicer to me.
Right. So, yeah, let's start out with some basic checks. First off, mech piloting, and sensors checks for both mechs. And then we're going to need someone to do, like, a survival check for the forest. And someone to do perception check. And, I want to do another check just so that that's one for everyone. So, what does everyone think would be a nice last check for one of the elementals?
The strength. No.
Survival.
Well, it's already got survival. That's the first one, right?
Got it, yeah. Oh, I didn't hear that part. Sorry. It
Tracking.
cut out on me.
Yeah. Does anyone have tracking? Maybe.
Yes.
You know,
Roll20 just logged me out, though.
Okay.
I think I have neither survival nor tracking, so that's gonna be fun.
Me neither.
I've got ground navigation. That doesn't work.
I've got
You know,
if you
tracking, but no
I do
survival.
too.
Yeah, anyone's
Alright.
welcome to roll on Cole. I just
Yeah.
can't right now because it's.
It said no.
Yeah.
I have
Tell you what.
changed.
Alright, it looks like your session has expired. Please exit the game and log back in.
Oh, you too?
On yours? Yeah, on everyone's sheet.
Oh.
And everyone's. I'm still good.
Nope,
No,
I'm
if you
good.
click on someone else's.
One's working.
Well, not on your like my own sheet is still open, but like if I click on anyone else's, it says session expired.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Logged.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That is just freaky.
Let me try it. I'm gonna roll
So-
something just to test it. I'm gonna roll something that doesn't matter.
That worked.
Yeah, we can still roll. I just can't open up sheets.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, I had closed mine and then opened back up Cole and it said that. And then redirected and then redirected me to the login screen. Now I'm
Yeah.
back in and could roll. Oh, so that's a -2. Can I put 2 edge points on a thing?
Yes.
Hell yeah. It's a 0.
So yeah, you're now trying to track the beasties and whatnot. See if you can find something. That's okay. Let's see. Oh, that reminds me. Kedley needs to roll her mech's piloting and sensors. Just see. Well, piloting. If you want to just go with Bobby's sensor check, that's fine too.
We'll see how bad mine is.
Okay, you may
Well-
want to spend an edge
Oh yeah,
point
there's
on
getting an edge point on the piloting one.
that. Good, because otherwise your mech would have gotten stuck in a bog.
No, no.
Oh gosh.
I'd never hear the end of it.
Yeah, it's that thing where probably like you get 1 foot stuck in the bog, and you're like, no, nope, 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 nope. Not acceptable. I am not living with this. Somehow managed to work your way out of it. Catch up a couple minutes later. Hey, where were you? Nowhere.
Glaring through the piloting area at the elementals on the back.
They wisely just shift their view away. Don't say anything.
Cole seems
Oh.
to have just not noticed there was anything up to begin with.
Yeah.
Just takes your word for it.
Right, so yeah, piloting wise, you don't manage to get stuck in any of the boggy, swampy area. This is a forest, but I'm just going to warn you, because you guys chose near the lake, a lot of it is kind of swampy and soupy type landscape for large stretches of it that trees are just growing out of.
Okay.
Hey, you picked an area closer to water. There's the downside that there are stretches of water. So navigation hazard. That said, with your sensors, nothing special. Although you do pick up on a weird blip on your MAD display. For those who aren't familiar with the lore, that's the magnetic anomaly detector. Normally, something like that would probably be a mech or something, but this one seems to be on the ground, and so you're pretty sure it's just an iron deposit.
Ooh, look, metal.
Something magnetic, at least.
As far as Kettley knows, it's metal.
Yep. So, yep, that's just something to flag there. Just because you did get a success of 2 between the two of you. Let's see. And did the elementals make their rolls?
It was just the tracking. Well, it's Cole, right? Or is there a second
Yeah.
one going on?
Someone also had to do survival for the wilderness and then a perception check.
What is this main stat for survival?
Can someone check? I don't have a character sheet open.
I'm looking for it. It's body and int, apparently.
Yup. Complex advanced.
That's, I believe, a target number of 9?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if it's unskilled, that's... I forget what it translates to, but it's...
Basically -4 on the roll, and I think you're rolling against you're at that point you're not rolling the skill check, you're rolling the I think stat? Is that how this system worked, or was it the skill check at -4?
You roll the stats, and it's...
Alright, so that's
against
body,
modifier.
yeah, body and what'd you say, intellect?
Intelligent. Yeah.
So you add those two together as your plus, you -4, and then your target number is 16 for a double stat, if I remember correctly.
That's impossible for me.
Oh dear.
If the target number is 16, yeah, it's impossible. I mean, target number of 16 is impossible for most people, even without being skilled in that skill specifically.
Like I said, your pluses, it's a stat roll, so your pluses are your total number of the stats combined.
Oh, the score, not the
Yeah, not the
modifier.
modifier.
Oh, okay, then never mind. That's I guess I can do it if it's the score. I got exactly 16.
Okay, that is a margin of success. Nice. Okay. 0. So yeah, you don't fall into any pitfalls of survival there that would cause you problems. Basically, straight up, I was going to have one of you get bitten by a poisonous insect or snake, depending on how badly you rolled.
Ooh.
Well, that would have been kind of unpleasant.
Yes. Would have turned it into a little mini medical emergency skill check challenge. And let's see, last one was perception. So I'm guessing Kenji, you're going to do that one?
Oh, I have that one. Thank goodness. Where? It's no longer alphabetical. I've put it by skill level, and I think I'm regretting this. Okay, I found it. 2.
2. And it's not a fumble, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, with a 2, was the... So you got nothing for tracking, nothing for survival, sensors, that. Alright. So with a 2, you do spot in the distance something that looks like it could possibly be a grove of some sort of tree that's flowering and possibly fruit. And I think we'll leave it there for now, since we are getting close to the time Jay has to leave. But yeah, you spot in the distance one possible prospect that may or may not be fruit.
Point it out. And I say, guys, it might be fruit.
Ooh. I like fruit.
In that case, unless anyone else has any last-minute comments or reactions to that, I guess we move on to XP and nominations.
Yeah.
I have to nominate Cole for sticking it out at night, and
Yep.
Honestly, that was just funny. Yeah. I
Yep.
third that.
Why, thank you.
Congratulations! It seems pretty unanimous. Cole, +1 to XP. And let's see, total group-wise, I'm going to say 3 for the session. You haven't really accomplished any major goals, but it was an entertaining session, so I'm going to give you 3 XP.
What did I use, and what do I want to put it in?
Look, sensor operations.
I accidentally closed my sheet. Now I gotta log back in.
Oh no!
Oh no!